All right, everybody. So I hope everyone out there is as well as you can possibly be. I usually don't do intros and videos because I think it's kind of a waste of time. If anybody's been listening to me long enough, you should already know how I feel about a lot of things and how I see a lot of things. But yeah, I just want to start this video off saying to the lost child, to the lost children of the world, I said I wasn't going to get emotional. But listen, I don't want to feel sorry for you, but I do feel for you. I feel for you like you can never imagine. So, I don't know why people are so scared to cry. I don't know why. Oh boy. So this is just an example. The reason why I'm going to keep this. This is an example of when a child like myself and other children come into a world where they come here, and I'm going to give an example of something in my personal life that has happened. Drink a little bit of coffee here. We're all we got, right? So, my brother and a woman that he was with a long time ago, they had a kid. I don't want to put his name out because that's not what I do, but this kid, because my brother was, an addict and he was drinking, and this kid's mom, she was into drugs, and she was doing what she was doing, and I'm not going to put any names out there, but they had, you know, two kids. The one is doing better, the one is doing okay. The other one is just a lost child. He's somebody that he don't have anybody, and he's my mom was not letting him stay at the house for a long time. He was asking to come there, and I was telling her, look, that's probably not a good idea. You're just going to have drama, you're going to have trouble. And this is someone that I knew him when he was a baby, but it's like he hasn't been around since like 3 years old or something, and it's like 15, 16 years later, and it's like, what do you do in these kinds of circumstances? Like you're supposed to love someone and whatever, but then again, you say to yourself, well, this this kid is not my responsibility. I didn't bring him into this realm. I didn't bring him here. But then I feel bad for him. I feel for him because I know what I had to go through as a child. I had to go back and forth. I had to go from place to place. And that still carries on. I'm about to be a 40-year-old man, and that still carries on into my adult life. I still I don't trust people. I don't trust to stay anywhere. All that I ever wanted was a true place to be for myself. But this is what happens when you bring something here and the parents. Now I'm giving a prime example of why I will never have kids. This is why I am an antinatalist, because I could never bring a kid here because I might not be able to give that kid what it needs. And I'm terrified of that. You know, people couldn't give me what I needed. And then I look at this kid and he don't know what to do. He's completely lost. And his dad is dead. That was my brother. And I'm looking back right now where he died. He died in this back shed back here where I'm looking. He died on the floor of a drug overdose. And this is what people like me deal with. And I don't want people feeling sorry for me. That's not why I'm doing this. But at the same time, it's such a screwed up situation because I gotta be cold. I'm an empath, but I gotta be a cold empath because this all stems back from my childhood and what I had to go through. When I wanted to be home with my brother, my brothers, and my mom, I had to go to my aunt's house and I had to be with her and my uncle and her kids. And even though I cared for them, I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to go there, but I had to go there because my father wasn't around. And I love my dad. I love my mom. I love them. But at the same time, I do have some kind of resentment. I have some kind of bitterness in me for that. Why I had to go through that as a little child. You know, I didn't ask for that. And I don't even know if I'll upload this now. I'm getting a little too personal, but I want to show people. I want to show people because nobody ever cries on camera. Nobody ever fucking cries. Nobody ever just comes together and does anything like this anymore. It's just hold on for dear life, you know. And before I came out here to do this video, I had a bad dream about my brother drinking. He had 2 bottles. He had some bottles like red shit and some brown liquor or some shit. And I was like, yo, man, come on. Like in this dream, I'm like, come on, like let me make a drink. And he's like, nah, I only got 2 bottles. And it's these 2 big ass bottles because he used to drink a lot. Like he would drink more than anybody you ever knew. And this still haunts me, you know, his death, of how he died, because he needed help and he couldn't get help, and the whole situation is just so fucked up. And I keep this in, but it's something that's gonna be with me the rest of my life. I kind of idolized my brother at one time, and then we had something personal happen where just something. It was one little time of something. It was stupid. I did it. I admit it. But it's like I can't hold myself. I can't feel bad the rest of my life for one little fucking thing. But anyway, he held a grudge against me for, probably till the day that he died. He still loved me, but he had something in me that he probably was pissed off with all the time too. And I'm not going to get into those things because that's my business. But I now my mom is letting his kids stay with him, and she doesn't really want him there because he needs other kind of help. He like, the things that he's doing is just not what normal people would do. It's like I don't know what discipline the people that he was with gave him or didn't give him, because he had to go to foster parents because the situation got so bad that child services had to get involved. And I almost feel guilty out here even talking about it because my brother died back here, and it's kind of like, I'm not superstitious, but in a way it's like I feel as though he's listening to me and he can hear me saying this stuff, even though I know that sounds crazy. But I know he's dead. But I don't want to talk about anybody. But you know all that I can say, I don't have advice. I don't have anything that I can tell that lost child but to say I have been through the same thing. I know, and I know, and I'm telling you, when people say, oh, you're not alone and you can do this and that, well, listen, I'm trying to tell you, you might be alone wherever you are, you might feel alone, but I'm telling you, there are other people that have gone through the same stuff. It doesn't matter if you were abused or you had drug addict parents or you were the ugly duckling and you didn't fit in. It does not matter. I know what that's like. All that I ever wanted as a person was to have an environment where I could be myself and I could have people that truly loved me and cared for me. And nobody wants to say this. We all act like, we hide behind this veil. Like, we act like we don't want to be loved. We act like we don't want to be cared for. We act like we don't need to have somebody there that really once in a while can say, hey, look, how are you doing? What do you need? That's just how human nature is. That's how we are as people. And it really upsets me, man, when I hear people talking like this and I see that they're by themselves and it bothers me. But at the same time, it's like they have been like that so long. They are so used to that they have become, I call it a cold empath. That's how I feel. I feel so empathetic, but I gotta be cold. I gotta sound like an asshole. I don't know how. I don't know how to be in normal relationships. I never knew how to be in any kind of normal relationship that other people get in, where they're together all day, every day, and they do things together and they wake up and they're kissing and they're hugging and they sleep together. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. And that ain't how I am. I'm very taboo with how I do things. I gotta have my distance. I have to get away for a little bit of time. It's so ingrained in me because this goes back to my childhood. It goes back to not being somewhere that I didn't want to be. And then I had to kind of act like I wanted to be there, but I didn't. And then I was always the one that was either going outside away from everybody, or I would always just want to be in a room by myself because I didn't know how to express this stuff as a kid. I didn't know how to tell the people around me, like, look, it's nothing against you, but I just don't feel like you're giving me what I need as a person. You're not giving me what my spirit, what my flesh, spirit, and my mind, whatever you want to say it is. I wasn't getting that. And then throughout my childhood, I developed this strange way of thinking. Like, I would be in my own, I would fantasize and I would create worlds for myself. And I would imagine, like, being with other people somewhere and doing whatever. And I'm not saying that I was left out on the street or anything. My mom took care of us. She was not a bad mom, but I can't talk to her about this stuff. It's too sensitive of a topic for us to discuss, because a mother will go in denial. She won't really get to the thing that has happened, which I don't want to get into that right now, but a mother loves her children, and then when you start talking about how you really feel, they just kind of have to block you out and just act like they're not hearing it when they are, because it hurts them too. But I say, hey, listen, you got to take responsibility for the things that you have done too. I can't take responsibility for all these people. And this is like, what do you do? What do you do? Like, I'm telling her, like, look, just take him to a mission or something, or let him go into a psych ward or something to get help. He needs help. And I'm sorry, it's like, as bad as I want to help that child, as bad as I want to help him, right now I can't help him. I just can't, because then I got to take responsibility for him. And I just don't want that in my life right now. I'm not responsible, but at the same time, I feel guilty about it, even though he's not my responsibility, because I know what he's going through. I know what he's gonna go through as a kid. And I don't know, he's like 18 years old. He's not a kid, but still, it stems from the childhood. It all stems from the childhood, is why a man is like he is. And when I was younger, like I said, I always wanted to go. I had a house to go to. I had food. I had a bed. I had a mom that went to work. She was hardly ever there. I was either by myself there in a house, and it was scary being in this house I was in. I even have stuff from back then that I never even talked about with people. This house that I was in had very, very bizarre things happen in it. And I'm not even going to get into that, but I had a place to go. But when it wasn't one of my friends with me, one of my cousins or relatives, I hung with mostly relatives. If they weren't with me, then I'd have to go there by myself, and I'd be opening the door and it'd be dark and there'd be nobody in there, and I'd be there by myself, and my mind would just be wandering and just thinking things, and I just would be imagining being somewhere else with some other family, sitting in a circle talking or playing or doing something, touching each other. I don't know, doing something, all the things that regular people would want to do when they're younger, and maybe more, because I always felt different from other people. Like, even those families, they might have been close, but they weren't so close. I always wanted closeness. I always wanted intimacy in a way. But at the same time, what has developed in me as a person is, yes, even though I need those things, there's a part of me that is also very standoffish. Like, I need my time to be alone, and I'm kind of like, don't touch me kind of at the same time. Like, it's very strange. It's very weird. I can't explain it. I'm a total contradiction because this is what life has made me. Life has made me a contradiction. And then, people might think when I'm doing this that I'm just doing this to do it, to put on a character or to put on a show. No, this is me. My mother even used to say, "You're contrary." Because I was contrary. I was a contradiction. One minute I wanted to be held and touched, and then the next minute I was saying, "Look, leave me alone. I need my space." And I was kind of not aggressive, but I was a little bit like disgusted because when I really needed to be nurtured and I really needed to be touched, I really needed to be heard, I really needed to have somebody, and I didn't have that, I developed a character to where I'm like, oh, well, they don't care. Where are they at? I need this, but I'm not getting it. So I developed a character like, look, just leave me alone, just stay away from me or whatever. But I don't really mean it. You see what I'm saying? Oh, man. Hold on. Yeah, everything's fine. I'm out here on the porch. You all right? All right, so look, I'm going to end it with that. Uh, my grandmother's up, so she's probably thinking what I'm doing out here. But yeah, anyway, that is just a little bit of what goes on in reality that not too many people talk about, and they hold on to it. And I just figured, screw it. What does it matter? Why do I need to feel bad? Why do I need to feel guilty? Why do I need to get all, even though I do get upset, why do I need to act like it doesn't exist when it does? And that's what gets me mad and angry, is when things come up like this. I was in here crying for this kid, and then I get angry. I'm crying, but then I'm angry. I need nurturing, but then I'm like, stay away from me. I need one thing, but then it needs to be another way. So this is why it's almost like this thing, by being by myself, has developed where it's just probably better for me to be alone, but I don't want to be alone all the time. I don't know. It's very strange. It's very weird. But I don't know. To the lost child, the lost children of the world, you know, you're going to go through it. You're going to experience stuff. You're going to have your ups and downs. And through that, you're going to be the person you are. Things are going to change over time. You're going to see, the way that you see the world is going to change. The way you see people is going to change. And the only thing that a person can really do, in my opinion, is to really be vulnerable with yourself. Don't be scared to be vulnerable and really say how you feel and what you're really going through, because the more you hold it in, the more that it's just going to cause psychological issues. You're going to maybe develop mental health problems. You're going to be angry and bitter and resentful. And I'm telling you, it's just better to go and talk with somebody about these things. Some person, someone, if it's even one person, so that you don't hold this stuff in. That's about all I can say. Or do artistical things. Get into a craft, get into music, put your pain into an art. That's all that I can tell you. That's all I can tell you, because that's all that I do. So, namaste, peace unto you. Even in the curses of life, I pray that everyone is blessed. But that's not up to me, though. So, I don't know. Take care. Later.